The Phoenix Island, sealed in an ancient state, was eerily quiet, with only Xun'er, Xiao, and a few others standing there. The entire void around them was filled with an oppressive silence. Here, it seemed as though the flow of time itself had become incredibly slow and blurred. 1 year. For a full year, Xiao had been sitting cross-legged with his eyes closed. The blood-red energy liquid had long since been completely consumed by him. As a result, Xiao's skin was now covered with thick blue dragon scales, and faint fire-red phoenix patterns had appeared, giving his body a brilliant radiance, exuding a terrifying force as if the very heavens and earth were about to collapse. Almost there. At that moment, Xiao's eyes, which had been closed for countless years, slowly opened. A surge of ancient energy rippled out, like the awakening of an ancient dragon, spreading in all directions and causing even the most stable of voids to hum with a strange resonance. Boom! The very instant Xiao opened his eyes, a blood-red thundercloud tore through the defenses of Phoenix Island, bringing with it an immense destructive energy that descended upon the island. In the far-off sky, the blood-red clouds wriggled and gathered, seemingly coming from a distant place. Faint thunder rumbled, echoing eerily in the world. As the low rumble of the thunder reverberated, Xiao felt his own power become bizarrely erratic, and even his heart began to beat uncontrollably. This seemingly faint, almost negligible blood-red thundercloud emitted an ominous wave of energy that made Xiao's mind feel a sense of dizziness. In the past, the thunder he had summoned while refining pills seemed laughably weak under such a tribulation. The power contained in this thunder tribulation was unparalleled, and in all his experiences, the only one who could be compared to it in strength was the Thunder Lord. ZZZT. Before long, the quiet blood-red thundercloud began to churn, and at the center of the clouds, a deep, blood-red void appeared. The blood-red void seemed to contain the power of countless thunderstorms, and the sound of muffled thunder resounded, igniting the previously quiet Phoenix Island with intense energy. The aura of destruction that emanated from it made Xiao's body hair stand on end, a strong sense of crisis enveloping him. A reincarnation tribulation? It seems that the liquid within those blood-red crystals has helped me break through the shackles of reincarnation. As long as I can successfully endure this tribulation, I will be able to ascend to the first-tier reincarnation stage. However, the power of this reincarnation tribulation is truly formidable. It's no wonder that reincarnation stage experts are considered to be at the top of the world in the Great Thousand Worlds. Looking at the terrifying storm of thunderclouds above, Xiao's lips curled into a rare smile of comfort and fiery determination. He had waited too long to step into the first-tier reincarnation stage. Only by constantly increasing his strength and exploring the power of the heavenly Tao reincarnation flame, as well as his family's ancient land, could he gain the power to go further. Who? Inside Xiao's body, numerous forces began to churn. The glazed sacred flame, the dragon god transformation, the battle soul, and many other powers surged. From the deep blood-red void in the sky, a blood-red thunder pillar suddenly materialized. As it condensed, the energy in the world seemed to respond, surging toward it relentlessly. This seemingly simple attack was likely enough to annihilate even a true reincarnation stage expert. Come, reincarnation tribulation. Watching this vast attack, Xiao gripped the immense power in his hands. This time, he didn't use Baxia's shell, but instead merged all his internal power. Countless forces surged into his palms, and with one mighty strike, the very heavens seemed to change, and the void itself began to dissipate. Boom! A destructive storm of incredible strength raged from the point of contact, and the sounds of thunder reverberated throughout Phoenix Island, shaking the entire place. But no matter how terrifying the attack from the reincarnation tribulation was, when it touched Xiao's body, it was first weakened by countless forces and then slowly absorbed into his body. Even more strangely, despite the terrifying fluctuations from Xiao enduring the reincarnation tribulation, the sealed crystals on Phoenix Island showed no signs of breaking. Time passed, and before long, the thunderclouds in the sky dissipated. A rare, fragrant scent suddenly wafted from the direction of the throne, accompanied by a graceful figure. At the same time, 10 fire-winged golden crows, wrapped in golden flames, perched above Xun'er's head before merging into her brow. In that moment, a beautiful golden rune, like a divine artifact passed down through the ages, radiated with sacred light. Success. After a brief moment, a soft, joyous chirp filled the air. Xun'er, Xiao furrowed his brows, and a sound of extreme pleasure emanated from his skin. In an instant, he rushed towards Xun'er, attempting to shield her from the terrifying thunder tribulation. Hee, Xiao watch me. Seeing Xiao so worried, Xun'er's dark eyes relaxed slightly, and the golden light of the reincarnation seal at her forehead shone brightly. A majestic and towering figure appeared behind her, kneeling. Break for me. A soft shout rang out as Xun'er raised her delicate hand. On her artifact bracelet, the 5-legged golden crow shot out, charging towards the newly formed reincarnation tribulation in the sky with the support of various powers. Bang! 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 The 5-legged golden crow was incredibly fast. It reached the core of the reincarnation tribulation thundercloud and extended its palm, surrounded by countless ancient golden flames, gently striking at the heart of the reincarnation tribulation thundercloud. What seemed like a terrifying reincarnation tribulation was, in fact, utterly destroyed under the combined efforts of the 5-legged golden crow and Xun'er. The blood-colored thundercloud in the sky suddenly stiffened, and at almost the same moment, bits of dust began to fall from the cloud. The reincarnation tribulation, completely obliterated. Hee, Xiao. After finishing everything, Xun'er flashed beside Xiao like a fire spirit, her hands behind her back as she spun in circles, her face full of pride. First-tier reincarnation stage. Xun'er is still amazing. Xiao chuckled upon seeing this, his hearty voice ringing out as he pulled Xun'er into his embrace. This scene was quite warm and affectionate. Xiao has also reached the first-tier reincarnation stage. From now on, Xun'er will follow you. Feeling the warmth of the tall figure in front of her, Xun'er smiled sweetly. Younger generation, Xiao. Younger generation, Gu Xun'er. Thank you to the Phoenix clan, and to Elder Fengwan for the great gift. The memories of the Master of the 9 mystical flames have been transmitted. We should meet again in the reincarnation sea. Please take care, Elder. Once the words were spoken, Xiao, with Xun'er, completely disappeared from this place. The final sentence was clearly directed to the woman on the throne, as Xun'er spoke it because of the reincarnation seal. 9 mystical. As Xiao and Xun'er left, the Phoenix Island, sealed in dust, began to show signs of cracks. It was evident that an ancient creature was awakening. As for Bing Shuiyao and Bing Feng, due to their identities as mourners, they remained on Phoenix Island to guard it, while Feng Qin and the others had their own destinies. Thus, the Phoenix clan's era came to an end. After leaving Phoenix Island, in order to prevent its location from being exposed, Xiao and Xun'er used a vast amount of sacred flame power to seal this void completely, ensuring that the Phoenix clan would remain buried. However, it was uncertain when this self-imposed seal would end. Only when it did would the Phoenix clan's rebirth re-enter the site of the Great Thousand Worlds. At this moment, Xiao and Xun'er had both reached the first-tier reincarnation stage. Neither of them was at the near first-tier reincarnation stage, nor was it a complete reincarnation stage, but one had achieved it due to the blood-red liquid, and the other due to the powers of the reincarnation seal, making their achievements quite reasonable. After finishing everything, Xiao waved his hand, and a time-space wormhole crack appeared conveniently on Phoenix Island. Without hesitation, the two stepped into it and left the place. After the tempering of the reincarnation tribulation, Xiao body had become even more terrifying, while Xun'er had completely stabilized the reincarnation seal. After a long time, when she fully comprehended the reincarnation seal, her strength would rival the master of the 9 mystical flames. As for the 5-legged golden crow, it had also received the nourishment of reincarnation power, and its strength had recovered to the 4th-tier reincarnation stage. Combined with the reincarnation seal and the enhancement of the artifact bracelet, Xun'er had become nearly invincible within the 4th-tier reincarnation stage. There was even a faint trend of her surpassing Xiao. Although Xiao felt somewhat helpless, he could only smile bitterly. Nevertheless, his trip to Phoenix Island was extremely satisfying. And so, the two left Phoenix Island and entered the space-time rift, heading back to the boundless fire domain. Within the dark time-space rift, the dim void flickered with streams of light from time to time. After all, this was a time-space wormhole, a shared entry point for the Great Thousand Worlds. From time to time, other powerful beings tore through time from various dimensions to enter, crossing vast distances in the void. However, only those at the reincarnation stage could enter the time-space wormhole. Weaker individuals were highly likely to be sucked into the time-space turbulence. In such a case, even reincarnation stage experts would have difficulty protecting themselves, as time-space turbulence was one of the most powerful and mysterious forces in the world. Whoosh! Whoosh! Suddenly, ripples of black energy spread through the silent time-space wormhole, and a strange black hole emerged from the edge. A crack spread out from the black hole. This sign clearly indicated that someone was tearing through the time-space wormhole and was about to enter. Xiao Gij, this aura? Xun'er furrowed her brows. It was an evil fluctuation. Shoo. Xiao expression also became serious. The immense soul power enveloped the two of them, forming an energy lock that perfectly concealed their bodies within the time-space wormhole. This is really bizarre. I ended up having to go to the demon realm, while those two guys are playing a fine game. But those insane creatures in the demon realm don't care about any comforts from the Great Thousand Worlds. To them, strength is everything. So the demon realm is not something those from the human realm can even compare with. Let's hope this mission goes smoothly. Once the demon sovereign of the demon realm agrees to the benefits we've promised, the battle between the heavens and the earth can commence. Ha. When the extraterritorial armies arrive, this world will eventually fall back into the hands of the evil gods. From the dark black hole, a figure emerged. This person was surrounded by a layer of pitch-black evil mist, and just a glance at him sent a chilling feeling through the air. This guy seems a bit off, not exactly like a true extraterritorial evil being. Xiao and Xun'er hid in the void, following the figure closely. Relying on their familiarity and perception of the extraterritorial evil beings, Xiao noticed something unusual. The time-space wormhole could only be entered by humans. If an extraterritorial evil being appeared, it would likely trigger a resonance across the 7 realms. However, if this person was actually human, but had some evil power within him, that would be a different matter. Xiao Ji, now? Xun'er, not knowing what else to do, could only look at Xiao. The heavenly Tao reincarnation flame still has no specific news, so there's no rush in refining pills. The traces of the Dragon Clan and others are too hard to find, so we'll have to pause for now. What we need now is opportunity and strength. Whether for ourselves or for this world, the demon realm this person speaks of, it seems we must go there. Xun'er, what do you think? After careful thought, Xiao decided on this course of action. After all, this was a matter concerning the entire Great Thousand Worlds, and as the Lord of the Boundless Fire Domain, Xiao could not stand idly by. First, let's go to the Nest of Sin, and bring that person out, then we'll head to the demon realm together. That way, we'll have a better chance of success. The demon realm? Poison God Palace, Russell? A sinister voice sounded harsh, and after a moment, the shadow looked around, confirming that there were no suspicious individuals around. He waved his hand, and a black hole appeared beneath his feet once again. Whoosh! The shadow leaped into it and vanished. Sin? Xiao and Xun'er exchanged glances and followed closely. The empty void was filled with an endless black aura that surged like thick, demonic energy. Whoosh whoosh! A sharp sound of wind tearing through the sky suddenly echoed here. Lord of the Grand Sin Division. Several respectful voices came from the black mist on the ground beside them. Is the person still there? The figure spoke faintly. The person is still there. The other 2 lords have already bound them and are waiting for the Lord to lead them to the demon realm for negotiations. With this person's presence, Our cooperation with the demon realm will surely go smoothly. The shadow guard spoke quietly. Lead the way. The voice fell, and several figures made their way toward the underground hall. The Nest of Sin, huh? In the past, most of the Sin Division members had strength around the 8-star Do Xian level, but this one, being at the Reincarnation stage, is probably one of the top figures in the Sin faction. The 3 Grand Sin Divisions. Xiao nodded, his expression serious. The Sin faction was like the Soul Hall in the Do Chi continent, a parasitic force that spread throughout the Great Thousand Worlds, with their origins as humans, but serving as the dogs of the extraterritorial evil beings under human guise. Let's go. Hee, it's done. As Xiao finished speaking, Xun'er moved at incredible speed. In the blink of an eye, golden flames flashed, instantly evaporating many of the guards at the entrance of the Sin Division's hall. Before them, a sunken palace appeared beneath the desolate and barren land. Black light dots flickered around it, carrying a sinister and evil fluctuation. Under such circumstances, the entire area felt unusually cold. This was the headquarters of the Sin faction, the Nest of Sin, a place specifically used to imprison and suppress important figures. And the person before them was one of the highest-ranking figures in Sin, one of the 3 Grand Sin Divisions, Qingfeng Nether Division. As for his exact strength, it was likely unimaginable. Boom, boom, boom. Tick-tock, tick-tock. The dark, sunken hall beneath the ground stretched out, leading to the path of Sin, a passageway filled with vast expanses of black earth. The surface of the soil was dotted with piles of ominous white bones, exuding a chilling aura, accompanied by waves of cold, eerie winds that caused one's spirit to waver. Xun'er, be careful. This is the domain of Sin, and the guards here are likely very strict. Looking into the depths of the passage, waves of sinister blood mist surged, carrying a strange force that made Xiao and Xun'er's vision blur. Even when they used their soul power to sense, they could not penetrate it at all. As soon as their soul power touched the bizarre blood mist, it was immediately devoured. Xun'er nodded gravely, understanding the seriousness of the situation. Whoosh whoosh. Inside the dim blood mist passage, there was only one road, but as Xiao and Xun'er advanced, they occasionally noticed that the surrounding soil would slowly shed bundles of blood-colored halos, which then blinked and transformed into patrolling guards protecting the Grand Hall deep inside. The blood-colored soil, blood mist, evil energy, and figures. Everything before them was an assault on their minds. However, both were experienced individuals who had seen their share of dangerous situations, so they quietly advanced with the cover of their soul power. Creak. The guard's strength was mostly below the 8-star Do Xian level, so Xiao and Xun'er easily infiltrated the depths of the Path of Sin. What an eerie hall. Deep within the Path of Sin, there was no blood mist or patrolling figures, only an ancient black stone door standing before them. An extremely sinister and strange force radiated from the black stone door, making Xiao feel an unusual distortion in the air. Rip? A mournful wail, seemingly from nowhere, made the otherwise simple bronze stone door seem unusually cold. Coupled with the surroundings, it gave off a chilling, eerie feeling. That person's aura must have disappeared here. Xiao scanned the area but found nothing. Clearly, the person had likely entered the Grand Hall before them. Sin truly is a strange force. Looking at the ancient black door, Xun'er frowned, as both her artifact bracelet and the sacred flame inside her body sent a powerful repulsion. The fluctuation seemed to indicate that whatever lay inside the Grand Hall was no simple matter. Oh, this Grand Hall is actually surrounded by a confinement force? As they approached the stone door of the Grand Hall, a huge repelling force pushed Xiao body back, slowly forcing him toward the outside. To push away someone with a first-tier reincarnation stage strength, the power within the hall was certainly not insignificant. Xun'er, step back a little. Never mind, it's better to be cautious. Just as Xiao was about to tear apart the confinement, he immediately shook his head. For safety's sake, caution was key. After all, they were in the Nest of Sin, and if something went wrong, their situation would become precarious. Xun'er looked at Xiao with confusion. Vroom, vroom. Suddenly, an ancient core inscription slowly appeared on Xiao Yan's chest. Once it manifested, it did not do anything at first. Then, Xiao Yan poured his immense spiritual power into it, gradually activating the ancient pattern. At the same time, Xiao Yan etched invisible formation patterns, and a light formation quietly rested in his palm. However, the formation inside was far grander than any Xun'er had seen before. Such terrifying formation pressure. Seeing the large number of formation patterns in Xiao Yan's hand, Xun'er could not help but feel a sense of unease. Now, after the transformation on Phoenix Island, Xiao Yan's spiritual power had risen to another level. He was now capable of using 400,000 core formation patterns, which could be enough to contend with ordinary 4-tier reincarnation stage experts. However, the weakness of formation masters was also evident. With Xiao Yan now relying on his battle array master power, he could already compare to a 4-tier reincarnation stage expert. But every time a formation's power was used, it took considerable time to recover. Currently, after using a formation's power, Xiao Yan could not use it again for a month, as spiritual power, unlike soul power, was not traceable. The depth of such techniques was profound, and once used, they required a considerable amount of time to restore. Although this limitation existed, formations were still one of Xiao Yan's trump cards. Combined with powers like Baxia's Shell and the Sacred Flame, in short-term battles, within the 4-tier range, Xiao Yan was nearly invincible. Celestial Demon Formation. Soon, Xiao Yan flipped his palm, and a brilliant formation slowly shot out. Instantly, a mysterious beam of light formed a formation that enveloped the entire area, with the Black Grand Hall at its center. The power at this level was naturally meant to avoid alerting other powerful beings within Sin. After completing this, Xiao Yan gave Xun'er a knowing look. The two exchanged a glance. As the formation began to shift, one of them turned and transformed into a streak of light, swiftly darting into the Black Palace. The outer perimeter of the Black Palace was protected by the Heavenly Demon Formation. Unless a peak expert at the 4th-tier reincarnation stage intervened, there would be no issues for the time being. Xiao Yan's actions indicated that he intended to wipe out the so-called Grand Sin Division in one fell swoop. Boom! Rather than forcefully opening the entire stone door of the Black Palace, only a small crack was torn open. From within, a strange sound wave spread outward. As they resisted the oncoming vibrations, a tingling sensation surged over them. Inside the palace, a vast spiritual force spread. Without the eerie blood mist hovering over, the situation inside the palace was easily controlled by Xiao Yan. The entire palace was shaped like a long rectangle, with a circular arena in the center. Two faint yet terrifying waves of energy emanated from the very heart of the palace. Let's head to the center first. Surveying the edges of the dimly lit palace, where pitch-black stone pillars were arranged in a circle, Xiao Yan furrowed his brow and quickly spoke. Heh, poison hag, who would have thought you'd end up in our hands at the end? The figure of Qingfeng Nether Division was draped in black robes, making it impossible to discern any specific details, but the robe exuded a mocking smile beneath it. Poison hag? From the demon god's palace of the demon realm? Xiao Yan and Xun'er, hidden in the shadows, were both surprised to hear Qingfeng Nether Division speak. With the presence of the Reincarnation Seal and the stable activation of the seal on Phoenix Island, the 9 mystical flames masters' reincarnation had already begun. Many memories and powers were gradually resurfacing. Naturally, Xun'er knew a lot about the events in the Great Thousand Worlds. And from the conversation of the two in front of them, the term Poison Hag was one of the deeply ingrained factions in the 9 mystical flames masters' reincarnation seal. The demon realm, the poison god palace, and its power in poison spread throughout the Great Thousand Worlds. It was said that several strong experts at the 5th or 6th tier reincarnation stage had once provoked the poison god palace, and before they could even unleash any power, they had easily perished at the hands of the poison god palace's master. The demon realm's poison god palace? Xiao Yan and Xun'er had concealed their presence with spiritual energy, perfectly hiding behind the pitch-black stone pillars. However, after hearing the figures and the conversation in front of them, Xiao Yan was somewhat surprised. The Great Thousand Worlds were divided into 7 realms, and each realm was vast. Even Xiao Yan's understanding of the other realms was limited. It is said that in the demon realm, most of the inhabitants are humans with malicious intent, obsessed with power and authority. They are nothing like the humans in our human realm, so the demon realm has always been the most conflicted place among the 7 realms. The Poison God Palace and the Demon God Palace are the 2 largest forces in the demon realm, with countless disciples under them, almost controlling the entire demon realm. Xun'er lightly covered her mouth and leaned into Xiao Yan's ear, softly speaking and sharing the information she had gathered from the Reincarnation seal. The core of the Poison God Palace is similar to Little Fairy Doctor's situation. But in terms of poison, the Demon God Palace in the demon realm is probably far more powerful than Little Fairy Doctor's. It is rumored that within the palace, there is a deadly poison, incurable by any means. Once contaminated, even reincarnation stage experts can only perish quietly. Xun'er continued, her voice heavy with concern. Yun, Little Fairy Doctor, Yin. Upon hearing Xun'er's words, Xiao Yan's fists clenched tightly. After the 5 emperors stepped into the void, there had been no news of Yin or Old Dragon Emperor. Thankfully, the soul imprint on the soul jade inside him still flickered, proving they hadn't encountered a crisis. Later, when they returned to Dochi continent and fought against the forces from outside the realm, Yun and Little Fairy Doctor mysteriously vanished during the catastrophe. No one knew their whereabouts or whether they were safe. The 2 women had been Xiao Yan's guides along his journey. To say they were his confidants would not be an exaggeration. Their disappearance now weighed heavily on him, like a mountain pressing down on his chest, making it hard to breathe. No matter what, he had to find these 4. This was one of the greatest burdens in Xiao Yan's heart at present. Xiao Yan, don't worry, we will find them eventually. Sensing Xiao Yan's emotional shift, Xun'er gently tugged at his hand to comfort him. At the same time, with her actions, she had already demonstrated her stance. Let's deal with the current situation first. Wiping away his other thoughts, Xiao Yan focused his attention on the circular palace before them. Inside the palace, a sinister and eerie aura lingered. Aside from Qingfeng Nether Division, who was draped in a black robe, there was also a figure at the center of the palace, an elderly man bound by 6 chains, Poison Hag. The imprisoned Poison Hag was surrounded by a faint green mist that seemed to appear and disappear intermittently. Her vibrant dark green hair cascaded down, completely covering her face. However, even so, Xiao Yan could still vaguely sense that this individual's strength was truly formidable. Just a bunch of lackeys from the extraterritorial evil clan. Not long after, the 6 chains emitted an extremely piercing, swirling sound, and a voice of extreme disdain came from the figure in the center. If it weren't for your usefulness, you'd already be a corpse by now. What if it's the Poison Hag of the Poison God Palace? In the end, you'll still fall into my hands. The Qingfeng Nether Division didn't get angry at the Poison Hag's mockery and slowly spoke. Although we are in the demon realm, the people of our demon realm are different from you vermin from the Great Thousand Worlds. If you think you can use me as a bargaining chip to threaten the Poison God Palace, dream on. As the Poison Hag spoke, a deep and profound green mist suddenly surged around her. Then, a strange, fragrant aroma began to spread throughout the hall. This mist is poisonous. Xiao Yan's expression changed drastically, quickly increasing the protection of his soul power. But the next moment, something strange happened. As the bizarre poison mist spread, it began to slowly devour the soul power that was protecting Xiao Yan and the others, and it wouldn't take long before it completely consumed them. Just as expected, a strong figure from the Poison God Palace. But this is where it ends. Qingfeng Nether Seal. Facing the Poison Hag's poisonous mist attack, the Qingfeng Nether Division gave a slight sneer beneath his black robes. In the blink of an eye, he clasped his hands together, and an incredibly profound hand seal was formed. A terrifying reincarnation power spread. Boom! The Cyan Wind seal howled and roared, easily stirring the poison mist into chaos. Calm down. After completing the action, the Qingfeng Nether Division sneered and slowly walked toward the Poison Hag. No. I can't hold on. As Xiao Yan's voice fell, the soul power was instantly consumed by the remaining poison mist, and both of their figures appeared completely within the hall. Oh, so, some annoying flies have flown in. How interesting. In that instant, Xiao Yan felt himself being locked onto by an extremely cold gaze. A long-forgotten sense of heart-pounding dread surged from deep within him. Attack, capture him. At this moment, Xiao Yan saw no need to hide anything. After all, the hall had already been enveloped by his formation. Even if the Grand Sin Division wanted to fly, it would be impossible. Whoosh! Xiao Yan took a step forward, and then lightly spat out a breath from his mouth. The glazed fire instantly transformed the entire hall into a sea of flames. Within the fire, the poisonous mist slowly weakened, replaced by a sacred scorching sensation that caused the Qingfeng Nether Division beneath his black robes to shudder slightly. Sacred Flame Controller? At this moment, the calm and composed Qingfeng Nether Division lost all trace of composure. A sense of seriousness spread within him, because with his power and perception, he could instantly detect the terrifying fluctuations hidden within the glazed flames. Such power posed a deadly threat to him. Seeking death. The Qingfeng Nether Division's sinister gaze locked onto Xiao Yan and Xun'er. Then he extended his hand from beneath his black robe. Arrrr. On his palm, creepy, worm-like creatures wriggled within his flesh. Each time they moved, it caused an eerie, terrifying sensation. It looked truly horrifying. At the same time, as Qingfeng Nether Division made this move, the dark nether soldier within Xiao Yan's palm, which had been silent for a long time, suddenly emitted a very cheerful, joyful sound, as if it had encountered a companion from the same world. Boom! The Qingfeng Nether Division's palm suddenly raised and swung, and in the blink of an eye, countless dark, evil rays shot toward Xiao Yan, carrying with them these strange creatures, covering the sky and surging toward him. Zzz. Within the black evil rays, these strange creatures seemed to crawl like evil worms, and with every movement, the space in the hall began to collapse under their pressure. This is a nether worm? At this moment, the poison hag, firmly restrained at the center of the hall, narrowed her eyes slightly and exclaimed in surprise at the strange creatures hidden within the black evil rays. Nether worms? Although Xiao Yan was shocked, he didn't dare underestimate this strange attack. He hurriedly activated the burning decision within him, and the sacred flame surged continuously, transforming the entire hall into a sea of sacred flames. The glazed flame burned fiercely, scorching this eerie and sinister hall, and waves of intense heat surged toward them. At the same time, the dark nether soldier surged uncontrollably, then guarded them like a knight, its gaze firmly locked on the approaching black evil rays and nether worms. The eyes were filled with an oppressive pressure that seemed to shake heaven and earth. Without any retreat, it stared directly at the nether worms. Zzz. The nether worms, hidden within the evil rays, moved like sinister worms. In the next moment, a black flame ignited on the dark nether soldier and the nether worms. Though formless and colorless, it exuded an incredibly terrifying pressure that weighed down on Xiao Yan. Though this power was different from the sacred flame, the fluctuation it contained still deeply moved Xiao Yan. It was the unique power of the ghost realm. The two sides seemed to be locked in a strange standoff, as if entering a peculiar state. Ghost realm power? Xiao Yan and Xun'er both exclaimed in unison, their gazes becoming serious as they looked at the dark nether soldier and the nether worms. Ghost realm creatures? At the same time, a shocked voice came from afar, belonging to Qingfeng Nether Division. Despite the fact that the dark nether soldier's strength was only at the 8-star Do Xian level, it was, after all, a creature from the ghost realm. Creatures from the ghost realm had a mysterious attraction to each other from birth, and now, the dark nether soldier had completely drawn in its nether worms, unwittingly neutralizing its own attack. The power of the nether worms was enough to easily devour any strong opponent of the same level, and the dark nether soldier's action had effectively severed one of Qingfeng Nether Division's arms. Little beast, seeking death. Realizing that the nether worms, which could devour anything, had been stopped by the dark nether soldier, Qingfeng Nether Division's expression darkened, his face becoming cold. His hands slowly raised, and countless gusts of wind erupted from his body, with terrifying wind blades continuously materializing, filling the air with a chilling, hair-raising aura. Die! Countless wind blades appeared, and the space within the great hall fell silent. Soon, waves of energy rippled throughout the hall. Almost simultaneously, Qingfeng Nether Division raised his palm and slammed it toward Xiao in an attempt to suppress him. The numerous wind blades buzzed as the air exploded in a thunderous roar, immediately manifesting terrifying wind streaks that shot toward Xiao from all directions. A wind-type expert? Seeing the terrifying attack from Qingfeng Nether Division, Xiao was slightly surprised. Then, he smiled faintly, raising his palm as an endless array of brilliant, glazed-colored flames erupted, effortlessly intertwining with the incoming attack. Boom! Terrifying hurricanes and raging flames swept through the hall. Unfortunately, this explosive force only lasted a few breaths, as the wind blades were completely vaporized and melted by the glazed flames beneath them. With so many sacred flames combined, in terms of sheer power, even the strength of divine artifacts would pale in comparison within this space. Ghost Spirit Strike. Noticing the extraordinary nature of the glazed flames surrounding Xiao, Qingfeng Nether Division's brow furrowed. He quickly retracted his wind attribute energy, and a strange fluctuation erupted from his body, bringing with it a destructive aura as it surged toward Xiao. You want to compare soul power with me? Ghostly echoing heavenly illusions. Even though soul-based martial techniques couldn't deal with experts of the same level, if one soul power was detected as being too excessive, it could still cause a dangerous backlash. Brother Xiao, it's a soul attack. Xun'er furrowed her brow as she noticed the intangible fluctuations surrounding Qingfeng Nether Division. There was a massive pressure coming from it. She quickly turned to Xiao and said urgently, "Be careful." Whom. Whum. A crisp sound rang out as the two soul forces collided in the void of the hall, slowly dissipating after a short time. Humph, you really are an interesting junior. However, the aura on these two seems somewhat similar to that of that girl. Is it a coincidence? My Saintess of the Poison God Palace absolutely cannot be allowed to face any harm. No, I must be extra cautious. Looking at Xiao, who was able to hold his own against the Qingfeng Nether Division from the Grand Sin Division, the poison hag, tightly bound by chains, slightly raised her head. Through the gaps in her long hair, she could faintly sense the auras of the two. However, in her murmuring, she remained vigilant of Xiao and Xun'er. After all, the safety of the Saintess of the Poison God Palace was of utmost importance and left no room for error. Damn it! After several attacks were easily neutralized by Xiao, the usually proud Qingfeng Nether Division's expression grew increasingly savage. Xiao was clearly only at the first-tier reincarnation stage, but why was his opponent, who was clearly a near third-tier reincarnation stage expert, unable to do anything to him? The absolute disparity in reincarnation stage power. When did it become so negligible? The so-called Grand Sin Division is really nothing. Xiao eyes shimmered with glazed flames as the power within his body continued to accumulate. He then casually took a stance, appearing unbothered. Little beast, interfere with my plans, and you'll learn what true power is. Sacrifice, evil artifact. Jade Bloodhand. A manic smile appeared on Qingfeng Nether Division's face as a pitch-black, bony arm slowly extended from beneath his black robe. As soon as the arm emerged, nether worms began to crawl over it, their twisted, writhing motions emitting a suffocating and terrifying aura. Ugh. Be careful, Junior. This is an evil artifact refined by evil god experts. With the appearance of the Jade Bloodhand, the poison hag in the distance suddenly let out a loud roar. Let me use the 28th evil artifact to crush you all, so that I won't disgrace your identity as the master of the sacred flame. Die. After speaking, Qingfeng Nether Division's body shimmered with a jade-colored glow, which slowly flowed into his white bone arm that was completely blood jade in color. Evil artifact? It actually merges with his arm? Xun'er's expression grew solemn, clearly sensing an extremely intense fluctuation from it. Let me give it a try. Seeing this, Xiao Yan's blood finally stirred within him, no longer remaining still. His veins slowly pulsed and became blazing hot. Layer upon layer of glazed-colored flames and green scales spread out, enhancing his aura to its peak. Glug, glug. With the evil artifact empowered on his arm, Confronting Nether Division's eyes were filled with a blood-red glow. He casually waved his arm, and the entire hall actually hummed as if the air itself was trembling. This 28th evil artifact, the Jade Blood Hand, could actually be forcibly wielded by him? Confronting Nether Division's status and position truly lived up to the Grand Sin Division's reputation. But because of this, Xiao Yan's expectations for him grew even stronger. One of the top-tier figures of the Sin Division, this time he would definitely capture him and extract some useful information.